If you've got a market that wants to watch what you want to make, well, then this is your platform. It's this taking down the barrier between making the film and people watching it. It's like bringing those two together is what I think we're doing, and it's like, it feels like a bit like a revolution.
With this platform, I think it's a really good opportunity to make short films a viable thing to make, aside from just being in and making it in varsity or making it as a calling card. Hi, I'm Mark.
Hi, I'm Caleb.
And welcome back to Department Spotlight. It's the show where we speak to our friends and colleagues about their experiences in the film industry. Today we've got a really great episode for you. We are talking about a brand new platform that we are really excited about. It's called SUPP.co.za.
It's a platform where South African filmmakers can upload their short films and get paid for it by the audience.
We'll be speaking to Lydia Stander. She is the founder of SUPP, and we'll be speaking about why she started it, how it works, and why you should upload your film to SUPP.
Let's get into it.
Maybe just start with what's your background?
Thanks very much, Mark. Lovely to be here, and so awesome to know you guys. love what you do. My background. Yeah, I don't really want to talk too much about myself, but anyway, I'll just tell you briefly. I'm pretty much entrepreneurial by nature. Tried a few things, but most of my career has been spent in marketing. So that's more or less my background. Although I started out at a bank of all places. I've had quite a few different things that I've done in my career, but this is by far and away the most exciting.
Awesome. And can you just give us a bit of a breakdown as to what SUPP is and how you came about it? Yeah.
So SUPP stands for support. It's all about supporting the South African film industry and those that work in it. So it was conceived during lockdown when it became pretty obvious that those, obviously a lot of people were affected by losing their jobs during COVID lockdown, but none more than those in the entertainment industry. So it was obvious that those people were going to need help because it's a long road back to actually making money again in the entertainment world. And even before lockdown, I think you will agree, people in our film industry just don't get the recognition. I don't know why. It's just something about South Africans. People in the creative fields are just not worthy of worthy of recognition. But so I'd like to see that change. And so the whole idea really was like a brainwave. Let's quickly make this website where people can put their short films on and earn revenue. And it all sounded very simple until we got stuck in, and almost a year later, it's been a big project, but a great project, and it's so rewarding to hear everyone so positive about it. Yeah, so the whole idea is just to give people an opportunity to have a platform that whatever they've created, they can then put it on and generate revenue through views.
Yeah, no, I think that's really. No, you explained it fantastically. No, I think a lot of filmmakers, especially us, we're pretty grateful that you've created this platform. I think it's amazing how far you've come. I mean, you started in about a year or so ago, and I think it's really amazing. I didn't know it stood for support. That's really that's so cool, and it's literally what you do. I think there's a lot of platforms similar, but I don't think there's so many that actually stand so well for the creators. So I just want to say thank you so much. That's really amazing.
Yeah, and especially that is catered towards short films. We have another question here, which is what initially drew you towards short films specifically? Because I think one of the most amazing things about the platform is that it's supporting short films specifically, which aren't supported and kind of don't have a life after they've done a sort of festival circuit. So it's maybe you could elaborate on just what drew you towards the short film.
It's quite funny because I'm not from the film industry, that isn't my background. I've come in sort of without knowing. To me, short films are exciting, and so it was only once I started digging into that I found that people are like, oh, short films, yeah, that's just what we do to calling cards, whatever. But to me, they're exciting and they're little bits of wonderful things, So I love them because they compacted the story in just a little few minutes. We tell a whole story, and it's wonderful. Or it's a concept. So I think, but what my thinking initially was that short films are a lot, not easier. I know it's not easy to make a film, but easier than a full-length film and cheaper. And that was the thought. So if something, you can knock one out for, I don't know, 10,000 Rand or less, a lot less, I suppose, if you're clever. So the idea was quick turnaround, cheaper, cheaper to make them, and then hopefully you can get them out quicker and generate more revenue. So the thought was just more of, easier to make more of. That was the thought.
I think that's kind of fantastic because I mean a lot of creators when it comes to like other streaming platforms that are like Showmax or Netflix, like what's nice about yours is it's a bit easier for creators to create the content and bring it towards you, whereas with a feature you need so much resources and stuff. And so true that like people that's just starting out, they can just put together like a reasonable budget, and a short form would be something that's attainable for them and something that they've probably done before, maybe in college or anything like that. So I think it's really cool that that's what your platform does. I just want to ask also, like in developing the platform, what was some of your greatest challenges, or what was some unforeseen difficulties that you came across that you could discuss with us?
It's been the biggest challenge. I'm just getting it all done, working the way it should. So I'm very happy with it as now. It's looking great, and it's where it should be now. But it's taken a long road to get there. I'm not going to elaborate. I don't want to say anything bad. But it's just been a challenge to get it all working properly, and very frustrating. Lots of sleepless nights and blood, sweat, and many tears. Yeah, but I think the result is great. So it's all been worth it.
I think usually if something is takes long and it's quite draining and you lose a lot of sleep over it, it means it's worth it in the end. If it comes easy, it's probably not worth it. So I think that just shows that it's a platform worth standing by with all the dedication that's gone to it. So yeah.
Well, I hope so. Just going back to the short film thing, I also wanted to mention that obviously there's a lot. Well, not obviously. Again, this is something I've learned, but there is a lot more of that content around. There's a lot more short films around because, like you touched on, students all make short films, and people all make short films for their their full length as their calling card. So there's a lot of that lying around, and for festivals. So there is a lot of content. It's just a matter of now bringing it all to the site, which is also again a big challenge. The awareness is a big challenge for me right now, especially because I don't really have a marketing budget. It's relying a lot on social media and people just spreading the word. So it's probably going to take a bit longer than we hope to get all. We actually need a lot more titles to make it, especially because now we've opened it up to subscriptions. We initially started off with just the credits packages, which we specifically did that because it was easier, because we want to keep everything very transparent. I mean, it's all about the filmmakers making money. It's not about us making money or profits. We probably never will. So it was very much a matter of, okay, you bought this credit, we can link it to that film, and that would make the whole transaction easier. So now that we've but having done the market research with the focus group, we can see people prefer it's because of Netflix and people like that. Spoiled it for us. That people are used to subscriptions. So we've moved over to that, which makes it a little bit more complicated than with the equation of linking. But we will do it, and it's all fine. It's just a bit more complex.
And just going on what Kellen, you were saying as well about short films, and it being a short film is something that like a student makes, or you make it as like a calling card. But what I think how sort of like we found each other was that Loop Pictures was making short films as something like we hope like just more than that, you know what I mean? More than just like a calling card. With this platform, I think it's a really good opportunity to make short films a viable thing to make, aside from just being in and making it in varsity or making it as a calling card. Because I feel like what you were saying about funding is that when you want to make like a feature or a series, you make all of these documents and then you just like wait forever not making things. So I think that a really good SUPP is this really good incentive to just keep on making things.
Making short form.
Which makes everyone better.
Exactly.
Yes. So I almost see it as it's almost like in a way, a little bit of a training ground for people to keep on, like you said, just keep on, because it's practice that makes things better. So the more you can make, the better you get, the better everything is. So I think it's the way forward. And also I think, especially with the young people, the attention span is so to watch. I know my son sits down to watch a film. He's 20. He'll sit down. He'll go, okay, 15 minutes later, it's like, okay, now he's looking around for something, taking out his phone. So I think attention spans are shorter, and short films, and we don't have time. So, you sit in an Uber and watch a short film. It makes perfect sense.
In terms of short film, for you guys personally, is there anything in particular you look for in a short film when sourcing and getting new movies and things like that? Is there anything in particular you guys look for in a short film?
Yeah, so it's a curation process, but we're not prescriptive, and we're certainly not like expecting top level. It's all about entertainment value for us. And it's if you've got a market that wants to watch what you want to make, well, then this is your platform. That's kind of the thinking. So definitely, it's got to be watch worthy. It's got to be obviously at a certain level. We can't put something. So if someone's prepared to pay for it, it can be there. That's the thinking. And the more creative, the better. I mean, it's actually amazing the sort of films that we've got already and the diversity. I'm so proud of actually what South Africans are doing. It's wonderful. I'm very proud of it. And it's I like things that are a little bit sort of off the wall, concepts that are interesting, that make you think. Anything that opens dialogue is also important to me. And that's the other part of what you want to bring in eventually, is also just sort of analyzing films from professionals to analyze the films and also explain a little bit, because I think once you've opened a theme up, especially to younger people, then you need to also unpack it a bit and let them understand what the film was about, and what maybe if it's something that touches them, what they can do about it, or just those discussion points I think are important, because there are some hectic stories out there which need to be shown and spoken about, but I think they also have quite a big impact. And then also just the fun stuff. I mean, mugged. Love it. It's just fun, and yeah, the more creative, the more wonderful. We just love it all, and also we're looking for more diversity in terms of like animation. I think we've only got one, and I've seen a lot of students make some great animation. I'd love to see more of that, and even performing arts, music videos, anything. Whatever you think people would want to watch and pay for, well, why not? Bring it along.
That's awesome. Yeah, and it's funny that you say also, like when you're speaking about like making short forms that unpack certain themes that are difficult to deal with and stuff, and then it kind of triggers people to maybe act upon it. I think that could also then have a domino effect where it could like initiate something in other artists, like other like people that create music or paintings or even short forms as well, or forms that would then be like, okay, what's my truth in terms of that situation as well, and then would inspire them to maybe create something. And I think that could then just lead to something that's more open and more conversations around that. And I think that's really nice. And so I think it kind of just feeds back into that. Eventually, maybe also would lead to people making short forms even more on that topic that could then feed back into and feed into the conversation even more, which I think is kind of amazing as well.
Short forms are a good conversation starter, I think.
Yeah. Yes. And almost like, I think it's a little bit revolutionary, like it's this taking down the barrier between making the film and people watching it. It's like bringing those two together is what I think we're doing, and it's like it feels like a bit like a revolution. Like let's make films and let's do things. So yeah, it's exciting, and a little bit more on the independent side as opposed to like themed, like Hollywood themes. It's got a girl meets boy, everyone walks off into the sunset, which is extremely boring. Anything that has an interesting ending is good.
Yeah, awesome. I think just touching then on that as well, when you're speaking about the Hollywood films and stuff like that, is SUPP only for South African films, or what's the exact structure there?
Yeah, the focus at the moment is just South African films. I really think there's a lot of work to be done here. It's as I said, the ones that we've got, I'm surprised at what people are producing compared to what we see like on Showmax or whatever. I mean, sometimes I watch something like, oh, is that South African? But I mean, then you see things that like everyday people are making. Not every day, but what I'm saying is like they're not getting the millions of rands behind them to make these films, and yet the films are good. So yeah, I think I think let's start here at home. Make things better. And I was chatting to someone from Vegas the other day, and she's just had such lovely thoughts about how film is representation of our culture, and we really need to nurture that so that people see who we really are. And South Africans are a rich people. They've got lots to say, interesting histories, interesting future. Yeah.
I think that's really true. I think it's a really good thing to have that focus start off with South Africa first, because like you said, there's so much stories here, and like I know for me personally, like I write a lot of things like that come from like the Khoisan and stuff like that, and a lot of that history is untold, and it's almost like the world's oldest people that don't even have their legends or anything explored on television and stuff like that. So I think it's really nice that you give that opportunity for people from every different kind of culture and stuff like that in South Africa to try and push up their narrative so that it can kind of be to the level where we know like the Greek gods and all of this, but do we know more of our, like things from our land and stuff? So I think that's really, really cool that this platform is so focused on the South African film market. I think that's a really nice benefit for the filmmakers.
I mean, I always say you can't move forward if you don't know your history. You can't, you don't know. You need to understand that as well. And I think so. Recording what's happened, and then also then looking forward. So more with the concept films, the ones that are a bit more edgy. I mean, that's all about the future. And then I think we should, a balance between what's happened, what's happening now, and what's going to happen is nice.
Yeah.
I know we've been touching on it already, but what would you say are some benefits for filmmakers to sort of bring them to the platform?
Okay, this is going to fill the whole hour. There are lots of benefits. So besides the fact that you're going to be remunerated for each view, which I think that's pretty unique. I think our platform is unique in that way, is that you will get money for, and as you guys will know, it's not a huge amount yet, but hopefully it'll grow over time. The more subscriptions we get, the better things will go for everyone. But I mean, you are getting exposure to an audience that you wouldn't normally. So those people that make short films, like you said, it's usually then within the film sort of community that's seen, but now we're saying, well, let's show it to everyone. So you're getting the whole public to have a look at what you've done, which is great, and get their backing. Then other features that we've added to the site is a collaborators page where you can then upload your skills. And hopefully if people will look there for when they're making their next film, or whether they're making the next advert, even if they're looking for a voice artist or graphic design, whatever it is, anyone that could possibly be used in the film industry as a whole, as broadly, you can put your profile there. So that's quite lacquer, and we will promote that. And then the other thing was film funding, the other new thing. So that's often the main obstacle in making any film is funding. So we've opened up it's like a crowdfunding where you can upload your film project concept, tell everyone about it, and we can start raising funds to make that happen.
Oh, fantastic.
I think that's all for now. It's quite a bit.
It is quite a bit. I think it's a lot more than other platforms offer, and I think especially at such a starting base. I mean, a lot of platforms you have to gain a reputation, you have to gain views, and I think with you guys, it's just no. If the work is out there, they've done the work. Let's get them paid for it, and I think that's really fantastic. I'd just like to also just take a sneak peek behind the curtains of SUPP and just ask, what was the most unexpected thing in creating the platform, or what have you learned, or what was one thing that you find a big takeaway from when you've created the platform?
So I think for me it's quite a personal thing. It's almost like I've stumbled across something that I feel like I should have been doing, So it's nice. It's sort of a converging of a few things for me. So me personally, I'm getting a hell of a lot out of this. It's a passion project. It's a passion project. But it's we're not getting any money for this, but it's really filling up so many other aspects of my life. It's really feeling good. I think I'm at a point where I'd like to give back, and I'm able to do that. So it feels good, and I get so much, like I said, positive feedback, and everyone I speak to about it sort of gives me another little piece of the puzzle, because like I said, I don't know much about the industry. I'm learning very quickly. But everyone I meet gives me another piece of the puzzle, and then I put that in, and then I get another, and it just grows. Everyone then meet this one, and you must meet that one, and have you heard about that? So it goes, and it's been wonderful just learning all about the industry and all the people, and very positive experience. So I don't know if there's been anything. I think I'm just being more surprised at how hard it was to get the website done. But other than that, no, it's just been a wonderful experience. Very, very positive.
And just to circle back to the Fund a Film, I was wondering if you could just maybe elaborate a little bit about what people need to do to put their project up there and start getting, and where does the money go versus something like Kickstarter versus this. What's the sort of the T's and C's, I suppose?
the T's and C's. Yeah, so it's pretty new. So we might have to still make adjustments. I think yours is the first one there. Thank you. I think we'll probably need to adjust it as we go. But for now, the basis is, so people are interested in people. So it's not so much about your film, in my view, as much as about the filmmaker. So it's important to, if you've started a project that you need funding for, is to tell people why. Why should they support your project specifically? Who are you? What are you trying to say? What is the importance of your project? So I think that the background information is probably more important even than the film itself. So people feel confident that tell them what you've done, because there's also a little bit of a curating process here. We're not going to just accept any film that's put up for funding. We do need to make sure we've got a little bit of responsibility to make sure that the people that are asking for the funding are in a position to actually then produce a film. So it's not just, hopefully it's not just somebody taking a chance. Unfortunately, you do have to think about those sort of things. There are people that can't be trusted. So not that we can always know that, but we are going to do our best to make sure that we get people on there that are going to then be able to use those funds properly. So you'll see it, as I said, everything is very transparent. You'll see on the crowdfunding page how much is being collected, and then hopefully once your target is reached, then we'll be able to pay that out to you, and you can get going with your project. But we will try and also maintain a relationship to make sure that it actually does occur. Again, like I'm saying, I'm not sure if we're opening a bit of a can of worms. We'll see. if it doesn't work, then we'll have to we'll have to end it. I'm just going to give it a go because I think it's important.
Yeah, I think you never really know till you try, and I think from my perspective, it's such a brilliant idea, because it's just like, it's a platform where specifically for making films, you can fund the people you want to fund with like Kickstarter and all that. You have to like search and all of this, and this is like specifically for film, and this is specifically for like South African content and something that you believe in, and like local entertainment. So I think that's really nice, is it causes like a really nice funnel for all the people looking to fund that kind of film. So I think that's really amazing.
But I noticed Kickstart also take a percentage of the fees that are collected with these funds that are collected. So we're not taking anything. It's whatever is collected goes directly to your project. There's no deduction.
That's really terrific, honestly.
Okay, cool. So thank you so much. We're going to end part 1 here, and we will see you part 2 for the conversation with Lydia from SUPP.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Lydia, for going through your platform with us today and just discussing how it all works. And thank you so much for creating such an amazing platform for South African filmmakers to use.
And thank you so much for listening. You can catch 11 of Lou Picture's short films on supp.co.za right now, or you can click on the link in the description below.
And if you like this video, why not smash that like button? It really helps us out. And while you're down there, why not hit the subscribe button? We release filmmaking related videos every single week. So hit that subscribe button.
If you have a question for Lydia or us, leave it down in the comment box below. And did you know that you can listen to the audio versions of these podcasts? You can check them out on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or anywhere else that you get your podcasts. But until next time, go out there, stay safe, and make your movie.